And once again, I want to say greetings to each and every one of you, Aquala, and welcome. Welcome to another round of the Conscious Raster Report here on LIBRadio, LIB TV, and on livinginblack.com. My name is Kidi Obiawadu, aka the Conscious Raster. Weekday mornings, you and I get together live. We come at you from 9 a.m. Pacific time. That's 12 noon Eastern time, 5 p.m. GMT, and 8 p.m. East Africa time. We get together with you, and we deal with culture, consciousness, historical perspectives. We deal with entertainment, economics, education, health, labor, law, politics, religion, family, conflict, future studies, all areas of human interactivity, and Pan-African affairs for sure. Today's date is Wednesday. It is the 21st day of January, 2026 in the Gregorian calendar. This corresponds to the year 6266 in the Kemetic calendar, to which we've realigned our cultural clock. Welcome to the 7th millennium. You have found your family in a peaceful place here on LIB Radio, LIB TV, and on livinginblack.com. I have an exciting guest for you today. Let me just give a real brief introduction of our brother. I have it up here on my desktop. Today on LIB Radio, we are joined in conversation with Brother Samal Jaioni, who is all about building an eco-village in East Africa. We'll explore the creation of sustainable art from natural materials, the challenges and rewards of vegan living in Kenya, and the vibrant community life that thrives on cooperation and shared values. This journey reveals how eco-conscious practices can transform lives and strengthen cultural connections across East Africa. Brother Samal Jaioni, born in U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Thomas, grew up in Washington, D.C., where he learned plant-based foods through the African Hebrew Israelite community of Dimona. He has 5 children and is currently living in Kenya, dealing in the art space and looking to build a eco village. Welcome today to the conversation, Brother Samal. I hope you are in good spirits.
Absolutely, Brother Keita. I appreciate you having us on today. It's a blessing to be here. It's such a royal introduction. I want to say thank you for that.
Well, you most certainly do deserve the best introduction that I could ever get, and we welcome you to for your first appearance here on LIB Radio. It's a joy and honor to be with you, especially on this subject of life in Kenya, building an eco village. You know, you tapped right into my soul there, brother.
Absolutely. I heard a lot about you through Brother Dorsey, and he was explaining to me that you was on the same wavelength. The actual eco village, it's a work in progress. It's in its infancy stages. So we haven't hit the ground running yet. It's such a great undertaking. You want to make sure that you have everything lined up. As you know, Brother Kidi, Kenya is not a place where you can just jump and just plop down and do anything. You have to have your ducks in order, kind of speak, you know. So we're taking our time, pole, and yep.
How long have you been in Kenya?
So March will make it 1 year. So
okay.
We're doing our homework. Every day we're gathering information. We can say an extensive network here. One of my good brothers here, he has the plant-based restaurant called Soul Vegetarian in Westlands in Nairobi. So he was instrumental in our trip here.
Now, is this the same, or is this an extension of Soul Vegetarian restaurant that's in Atlanta?
That's correct. That's an extension of that. They've been up and running for about 4 years now here in Nairobi, Kenya.
Oh my goodness. I love it, love it, love it. Yeah, when I was in Kenya, as a vegan in Kenya, I kind of had to like wing it every day until I could find a kitchen and a refrigerator to go, and then I was able to settle in real well. But then I did manage to make it to an Ethiopian restaurant there in Nairobi, and Nairobi has quite an extensive connection with Ethiopia.
Yeah, one of our favorite Ethiopian restaurants is Habesha in
That's right. That's
Westland.
the one I went to.
They have the best Ethiopian food. We can't wait to get back to Nairobi.
Awesome. Well, I am excited. Our audience is excited. I see Brother Eddie McCrory is in the house. Greetings, Brother Keity, to you and your guests. He says greetings. And also for Africa One, checking in on our Rumble page. Hotep, Brother Keity, Brother Samal, and Global LIB family. So our audience salutes you and we welcome you to this program. We're excited. We want to know all of the details. First of all, let's begin at the beginning. What convinced you to transfer your resources and your future to Kenya?
Well, I would have to say, listening to my brother's reggae music, Bamboo Station, inspired me a lot. And just coming out of the islands, the whole Rastafarian, Babylon, getting back to Africa, and studying the likes of Fela Kuti and the African Hebrew Israelite community. Like I said earlier, they are actually about 67,000 people in Israel, and consider that region of the world to be northeastern Africa. So just coming up as a young man, I always had a burning desire to get to the continent. Why Kenya? My wife and I was back and forth to Senegal, went as far as to buy a plot of land in Gambia because we thought Gambia was it. In 2023, 2024, we accumulated some land. And all the while I was in talks with a good brother of mine, Ami, here in Nairobi. And he inspired me to come just for a visit to Kenya. So my wife and I decided once we land in Kenya, if we like it, we're going to stay and we're going to sell our land in Gambia. And the rest is history, Brother Keity. Nairobi, Diani, these places here in Kenya, it just speaks to you. When you get off the plane and the smiles of the people and the endearment of the people is like none other. And I've been to other African countries where the welcome is just as warm, but it's something about East Africa. Maybe it's because it's like a little bit more developed, more infrastructure, but especially down here in the coast, I'm in Diani. So right outside of my town, like 5 minutes away from the ocean. And I'm from the Virgin Islands, so this is a perfect fit.
Okay.
So that's why Kenya for us,
Yeah. So you're on the ocean. You're not that far then from Mombasa, am I correct?
I'm a 40-minute drive from Mombasa. 40 minutes.
That's right. Yeah. I have been to Kenya 2 times. And I absolutely love it. I picked Kenya as my ultimate destination. Now, I will say this much. I'm a little apprehensive now of the way the government has turned, and we will get a chance to talk about that. This kind of 180 by the president of Kenya and becoming really cozy with the West, that's become a little bit disturbing to me and to some of my other friends. Are you able to talk politics with us today?
Brother Keity, it can be sticky, especially on these platforms.
That's right. And if you
I'm
want to
not a
skip
big,
it, that's no problem.
yeah, I'm not a big political person anyway. All I can tell you and the audience, the listening audience, is that the larger population here is not happy with the current administration. Let me put it like that. And
And we did announce that they were so happy when he was elected.
say it one more time.
We did report that the people that I was in contact were all so happy when the current president was elected.
Well, politics is a very shifty and tricky game. They say what they need to say to get in.
And there's
I mean,
many times we don't have a clue of what's going on in the background, what real issues that they have to deal with. They can be threatened or bullied by others, and we would never hear about that.
you never know. It's just like in Tanzania, what's going on there is horrendous. But sweet, soft-spoken Samia is like, we see what's going on.
Yeah. And in the case of Tanzania, the previous president, John Pemba Magufuli, was absolutely a champion of the people.
So, Brother Kidi, I lived in Tanzania for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
And Magufuli was one of the sole reasons that I made it to Tanzania. They had an open policy, they didn't shut down when COVID was doing their thing. You could just come in the country. And it was business as usual in Dar es Salaam. Nobody wore masks, and people love Magufuli. And nobody was buying into the said narrative that, he got ill, and nobody believed that. He was pushing back against a certain agenda at the time. Let me just say that. And you know how it go.
Yeah, I wrote a book called Forged by Fire. And in the book, I talked about John Pemba Magufuli collaborating with the president of Madagascar and developing COVID organics, an herbal solution that they use to fortify the people, strengthen their immune system. So that's how Tanzania was able to resist the COVID. Were you were there at the time during the pandemic?
Yeah, that's when I went.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Israel for about 6 months, and they wouldn't renew my visa. So I came back to America for like 10 days, and then I jumped straight to Tanzania. And it was, let me tell you, Brother Kidi, it was business as usual. You wouldn't even know like it was a so-called pandemic going on.
Now, on the other side of you, Kenya, in Uganda, I was in Uganda. I went to Uganda during the pandemic, and it was terrible. It was really, really bad. They shut down the government.
Wow.
It was, I'm not going to go into details, but I was scheduled to get married during the time that they shut down the government. And that ended up getting postponed, delayed. Then one day we got it arranged and the preacher didn't show up. But I guess I lucked out because in the long run, it wasn't going to work out. But I will say this much. When in Uganda, I got malaria. And when I got malaria, I went to a hospital. And the hospital, I later found out, they tagged me as the first COVID case. And I got put into a hospital. I got put into a hospital. The Koreans were coming in and rebuilding this hospital that had been decrepit, left to just kind of degenerate. And I was the first patient in their new COVID hospital. I was there about 4 days or so. It was a crazy experience. And the doctors knew my malaria antibodies would show up as positive on the COVID test. It didn't matter. They wanted the money that the World Health Organization was giving them for me being tagged a COVID case.
So at that time, there was quarantining people for like 14 days, correct? And they let you out in
That's
4
correct.
days?
Yeah, they were doing all kind of things. I got out in 4 days because I was the worst patient they could ever have imagined. I was refusing any treatment. They hooked me up to an IV, and I was just Asked the doctors, what's going on in there? No, no, no. Finally, after 4 days after, and I at time got a little confused because I was in and out of hallucinating and everything. Malaria is a horrible disease. I hope you never get it while you're there. Malaria is a horrible disease. I was hallucinating, but I got out 4 days after my friend started making me foods from my recipe book. And she was bringing in this smoothie. I was drinking the smoothie. My immune system got a jolt. I got my energy, and I got the heck out of there as soon as possible. But yeah, they were quarantining people. They didn't quarantine my girlfriend or my fiance at the time, and this woman who was kind of our matriarch. She was kind of a mother to both of us. They didn't quarantine them. Amazingly, though, my fiance and my keeper, this matriarch, never tested positive COVID antibodies. But I, who they were very close to, had malaria and they diagnosed me. That's enough of that.
How long was you down for?
I think I was down total for about maybe 10 days. I delayed going into the hospital as much as I could. You know, you know how we are. You know, I have the living superfood system. I knew my system could protect me, but unfortunately, family members, my fiance, her family, everybody was clamoring, go to the hospital. I finally went to the hospital. I'll be honest with you, brother, they damn near killed me.
Mm. So, Brother
But
Kitty, while we're on the subject, what is a good malaria prevention remedy?
yeah, I was using Artemisia annua. It's called sweet wormwood. It's an anti-parasitic, and the Artemisia annua has been developed into a formula called artemisinin by the Chinese. So that's what I recommend. I was drinking Artemisia annua tea and taking the drops pretty much every day, and it fortified me. But I ain't lying. Malaria is a beast. It did kill our beloved ancestor, Nana Bafur, Asa Hilliard, and we cannot take it lightly.
Understood. Understood.
So we can talk about that more off the air. I want to know more about Kenya. How are things proceeding with you in Kenya?
Man, like I was saying earlier, we taking it one day at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the main thing that we are focusing on is our art gallery / workshop that we built up. We have coupled up with a couple of young local brothers from Malindi. These brothers are a gem, Brother Kitty. You know how it is here with the hustle and everybody's trying to get one up on you. These brothers, like I said, they're a gem. And
Mm-hmm.
so we done did raffling off artwork. We done, did live paintings. We done sold paintings in DC, UK, Germany. So we built out the space already, and we're looking to do an actual plant-based cafe in
Mm.
conjunction with the art space. Um, so we just really, when we first got here, we were so amped up, and we still are. Don't get me wrong, we are still
Mm-hmm.
excited, but we kind of reel it back in a little bit because when you're
Mm-hmm.
having fun and everything is popping, you spending money like it's nothing, right?
Yeah,
So
I
we
know
had to
that
roll it
feeling.
back we had to roll it back a little bit, and we in this slowly. And our thing now is to really, as much as possible, try to move like the locals. Their
Mm-hmm.
rhythm, how they spend money, how their worldview, and in addition with our skill set from America, our minds is always running, looking and seeing opportunities, but we just trying to take it one day at a time. And we actually, I put it out there, we have accumulated some land already that we are finishing up the paperwork. So that will be the initial kind of blueprint of the eco village. So we're going to start it out with we're going to me and my wife, we love container shipping homes. So we're going
Mm-hmm.
to do a home concept on this first plot of land, and we're going to put two tiny homes on the land for when our, close friends and our family come, they can kind of sort of be off grid, but still close and have access to the beach and shops and stuff like that. So our land is about 10 minutes from where we stay now,
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're doing on a daily. The broader eco village, that's really for, I would say, down the road a little bit. So
Mm-hmm.
we just getting here a year. So we taking our time one day at a time. We learning the language, kidogo kidogo.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we see an opportunity, we jot it down. We jot it down. So that's what we're really doing, Brother Kitty. We
That's
just
right.
wanted to get America is so volatile, and not saying that the world over, there's issues everywhere. We just wanted to get to an environment that got less drama,
Mm.
So we chose Kenya, and we taking it one day at a time, Brother Kitty.
Mm-hmm. You talk about America, it's
You know,
chaotic now. That's an understatement. The president, this morning I wake up every morning listening to National Public Radio, and this morning the president was on, and I later found out he was speaking from Davos, Switzerland, where the billionaires and the ultra rulers of the world are. That's the globalists, that's their headquarters. Every year they have the Davos meeting, and he was speaking for about 45 minutes or less. I don't know. I had 20 minutes to listen to him while I was doing my exercise. It was completely unhinged. And that's the leadership now of America. Chickens come home to roost never made me sad, said Malcolm X. In fact, they made me glad. They elected him, he's their leader, and he's bringing down the American empire. Your thoughts?
but here's the thing, Brother Kitty. Like we in the season of Martin Luther King, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was said that he fed for his people, that he integrated his people into a burning house. And
Mm-hmm.
along with the Honorable Malcolm X, they understood that the system itself is rotten. You know what I mean? So whoever's out front, I don't think they really the people in charge. I think they're the
Mm.
ones out. They're the face that can take all of the heat.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it's like the real people in charge. We'll never see them.
Mm-hmm.
We'll never see them.
Yeah. Or if we
And I
do see them, they be mingling in and amongst us, and we wouldn't even know they're there. I was at Lambadi Beach in Ghana one day, and I actually was filming with my camera, and I backed up into someone, and I bumped into a man, and I turned around to apologize to him, and it was Wolfowitz, Paul Wolfowitz, one of the architects of the new global order under the Bush Junior administration.
okay,
So
okay.
we wouldn't even recognize these people if they were walking in and amongst us.
So it's like, why do we put a lot of emphasis on like the Trumps of the world? Like they're gonna be
Mm-hmm.
who they're gonna be who they are. But it's like control chaos. They
That's
want to
right.
confuse people. They want to make it so confusing and all over the place. They can control you when you're in a mode of fear. When there's panic and pandemonium everywhere, that's a way that they can zoom in and put the clamps down. And it
You're
happens,
absolutely right.
yeah, yeah.
Now, would you say that their presence and their behaviors consistently would actually be driving people like you and I to come up with our own set of solutions, including repatriation and building our own villages, eco villages to live in?
Brother Keedy, it's a constant reminder that If you don't plant and grow your own food, somebody else
Mm-hmm.
is going to for you. You know, if you don't come up with your own educational system, they're going to do that for you. You understand? So their worldview and our worldview are diametrically opposed. So, I mean, they're proven over and over and over again that they like a parasite. Like they are the
Mm.
only body of people that has caused so much havoc in the world. It got me thinking like they're a different breed of species of human beings.
Mm.
It's to be human, you got to have empathy, right?
That's right. That's a
You
key
got
part of
to
it.
have a conscious. Like they're the only people that dropped an atomic bomb.
Mm.
Native Americans wiped out. Mid-Atlantic slave trade. How can you displace hundreds of millions of people from one continent to the next and not
Mm-hmm.
feel nothing? It's like a business situation for them. And it's
Mm.
like proven over and over that they don't have our best interests at heart. So it is upon us. No longer could we sit back and say, oh, the white man this, the white man that system. They supposed to do what they do. It's working for them. Why change it?
Mm.
We got to do what we need to do.
That's
We are
right.
the former of all things. We got great amnesia. We forgot some things.
Mm.
We was the one who, the father of medicine, Amhotep, understand mathematics and sciences and able to dissect and break down the human anatomy without even cutting any skin. We was the one. Mansa Musa. We don't need to get into all of this, but Mansa Musa, the richest man
Mm-hmm.
that ever lived. How do we just comfortable in America when we can pay some bills. You know what I mean?
There's this thing called the Stockholm syndrome. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, to have a love affair, an affinity for your slave master or
Mm.
your captain. Yes.
That's right. There's no
So
mastery in enslaving
abs-
another person.
say it again.
You say there's no necessarily a master enslaves other people. The so-called slave master.
Right. So called.
Yeah.
So absolutely, it's definitely pushing folks to get out of there, and it don't necessarily have to be Africa. Any
Mm-hmm.
environment, the earth and the fullness thereof, right? You
That's
couldn't
right.
tell me a place where the African wasn't.
There
But
are 22 countries in the Western Hemisphere where black people form a majority of that nation's population. CARICOM should not be overlooked when we're talking about getting out of America.
that's a fact. That's a
All right.
fact.
Let's talk
Any,
more
any,
about the life you've created there in Kenya.
let's get into it. So, again, one of the main factors that got us here was Brother Amit. He's a multi-talented brother. He's an agriculturalist. Um, he created the Soul Vegetarian in Nairobi. They have a school in Nairobi, and I look to him a lot for like mentorship, and he been here for 12, 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
So he showed me the ropes, and he was one of the brothers who told me I need to slow down and just study the terrain, study the environment, you know? So my wife and I, we are very simple people, So we built out the art gallery and we moving that around. We have websites, we have online stores, Etsy account. So our day to day, Brother Keedy, is strictly surrounding art,
Mm-hmm.
as of right now. So all of my children are in America. They are grown, young adults. So my life now is simply creating and furthering our vision here on the ground, along with what Ami has going on in Nairobi. So he's one of the key components that will be helping us establish and spread the eco village down here in Diani. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so yeah. So that's what we're doing, Brother Kitty. It's not, we always say that these are our African dreams, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
anything that's like that we can't reach. You know, it's attainable. And we get up every day. We might go for a long walk. We might go for a jog. We have our bikes here. You know, our day consists of a little bit. We love to get our bodies moving. And we
Mm-hmm.
love, especially in Kenya, we love to seek out plant-based establishments. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I've been plant-based for the last 30 years. So
Congratulations.
thank you, thank you. That's one of our pastimes we love doing. We get on that Google search and we find places in Mombasa, Nairobi, you know, all across East Africa. And
Mm-hmm.
we have some trips coming. That's another project that I have, a small YouTube channel. It's
Mm-hmm.
called the Artist Journal, as you can see on the screen.
That's right.
And so I'm out about every day. We post almost, if not every day, every other day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what our life consists of here. And again, Kenya is not a place that you just come and just plop down. You got to have certain visas. If you're looking to do dual citizenship, there's a process for that. If you're looking to be a permanent resident, there's a process for that. So you got to make sure that you lock arms with the right people doing the right work. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
most of what I do is a lot of networking, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of here. You know,
That's
so
right.
that's what we're doing, Brother Keith.
Yeah. Well, there is so much to kind of unravel as we seek to repatriate to the mother continent. Experiences like yours, you've been to, you were in Israel for a while. You've been to Tanzania, as well as now Kenya. Have you lived or traveled any other African countries or major cities that you would share with us?
Absolutely. Actually, my first African country was Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Sogakope, spent some time in Cape Coast, of course, Dansuman and Accra. Um, my wife and I have been to Senegal. We spent a lot of time in Dakar. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
we did a road trip from Dakar to Gambia and back. That's a story. That's a whole nother show.
Mm-hmm.
Just traveling through the land and all of the pit stops and trying the bribery and stuff like that. You got to be, that's part of the African experience, unfortunately, right now.
Yeah, every
Um,
time you cross the borders, there's a whole lot of exchanging of currency and documents that have to go through, especially when you talk about Gambia, sits right in the
whoa,
middle of Senegal. So why go through all those changes to sustain the artificial colonial borders?
that's a good question. That's a good
Yeah.
question.
Let
So
me
yeah,
ask let me ask you this. In that exchange between, you said you traveled to Sierra Leone from from Senegal. Did you notice any real distinction between the peoples other than speaking
well,
French or speaking English?
we travel from Senegal to Gambia
To
and
Gambia,
back.
that's what I meant. I'm sorry.
Yeah, man, absolutely. They're the same people. You
Hmm. They're
know,
Wolof, am I correct?
yeah, Wolof and Fulani, and Gambia sits inside of Senegal,
That's right.
so it's the same people,
Yeah.
same
And
custom,
Gambia
same.
really was just really more of a boat trip. And it was hacked out of Senegal because the British and their expertise in navigation, whatever. But it's just a riverbanks. Am I correct?
No, that's correct. Gambia is very small. only populated by like 2 million people. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
could drive around the country in a matter of hours. You know, you're
That's
done.
right.
A couple
And
hours, you done.
understanding, from my understanding, Gambia has a lot of British-born Africans have been migrating to Gambia over the years.
I'm not too sure about that, brother Keith.
Okay.
I, Me personally, there's a couple of people I saw that was from the UK.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really sure on that.
Okay. Well, let's get forward to Kenya, and let's talk about your artist journey, your artist community there in Kenya. I say you're working in natural materials. Is that an example on the wall behind you of the type of materials you're producing?
Actually, no, this is from the Gambia. So
Mm-hmm.
this is fabric that we put on a frame.
Mm-hmm.
The type of work that we do. My wife, for instance, she created a clothing line company called Safi Sana.
Mm-hmm.
Sana is Kiswahili for super fresh.
Mm-hmm.
So so Safi Sana is a nice luxury brand, and also she does painting on clothes items. You know, so you come in the shop, you may see some flip flops or some beach shoes that have some nice art splashed all on it. I mean, nicely done art. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so she specializes in mixed medium art. So then another gentleman, Brother Steve, he does what we call realism. So he could take your face, Brother Keaty, and put it on the canvas. That's how good that brother is. And then Brother Kraina, he does what we call pop art. So
Mm-hmm.
pop art is, to give you an example. Yeah, we got an example. Yeah. So it's it's carefully placed, or the
Ooh,
color placement is different. So
that's
this is
beautiful.
considered, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And myself, I do a mix of. Let me see. So this would be semi-realism.
Ooh, now that is wonderful. Mm-hmm.
So I do a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So realism, I do abstract. I mix the two. I may have a beautifully done painting. I might just throw some paint on it. So I might give them a
Mm-hmm.
little yeah situation, you know. So and also J Cafe, that's what we call my wife. She um, she deals with the merch side of things. So any painting that we have, we put it on coffee mugs, we put it on T-shirts. This is one of
Mm-hmm.
my paintings.
Okay.
You know, we have
Mm-hmm.
she have all kinds. So that's what we're dealing with. And also, brother Kitty, we have they have the affordable art show here in Nairobi where they feature over 800 artists twice a year.
Mm.
So we didn't make the last one, but in May we are looking to enter this particular show. So both two of our artists, we will have about 3 paintings apiece, and this is a very big look for local artists. It gives you an opportunity to get exposure to the wider art community. You know, so
Wow. All
and
right.
art here,
What's the name? What
art
is the name again of that show? I'm just going to put it up for our listening audience.
is called the Affordable Art Show. Okay, that's the name of it. The Affordable Art Show,
And that's in
Nairobi,
Nairobi?
Kenya.
Okay.
That's correct.
All right. Affordable art show in Nairobi. And I see you can get tickets here online. And also the Kenya Museum Society has it up on their website.
Absolutely.
So I'll put
So
that
we
link
have,
up for those of our listening audience who are interested in traveling to Africa, traveling to Kenya. I would highly recommend to get in contact with you and to come on through and
feel,
collaborate.
feel free. Feel free. Again, the website. Well, actually, my email is I have it in the description, Brother Keith. So
Hmm.
they can go over to the art shop, artisans, or the artist journal, and all of my information is in the description. So feel free
Awesome,
to just
awesome,
reach out.
awesome, awesome.
And also, Brother Keith,
Why?
that
Hmm.
affordable art show is being held in Kenya's what is it called?
The
The
National
Kenya
Center.
National Art.
Yeah, I've been to that Kenya Center of Commerce, and I'm trying to think of what it is. It was a group, the Kenya Center of Commerce and Industry, KCCI, actually hosted
Okay.
an event at the big conference center in Nairobi. And that was my first visit in August 2014, and it was really, really wonderful. The people were so inviting, so supportive. And on the third day that we were there in country, we actually had an audience, and there was a room full of people with the President Uhuru Kenyatta, who spoke to a large gathering. And it was wonderful. The Russians were there, the Germans were there, a number of other people were there. But when he acknowledged the visitors, he acknowledged the Africans traveling together from America. He acknowledged us above the others, and that did mean a lot to us. I got credentials to become a journalist, and I was wonderfully accepted. And I think that's consistent about the Kenyan people, that they're really open and welcoming of us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's one of the things that stood out to us is that they
Hmm.
welcome, you know. And one thing I gotta say, Brother Kitty, like far as the art space, these artists here are some of the top artists in the world.
That's right.
Hands down, hands down, like the detail of their work and just how different it is. But then you will have folks that come from Europe and America. They try to just bargain them down to like pennies. And the artist found themselves in a tough position because rent is due tomorrow.
Hmm.
And I'm a little hungry.
Hmm.
So let's say a painting, for instance, that will go for literally $10,000, $15,000 in America.
Hmm.
They get $40 for it here.
That's right.
$40. You know what I mean? So that's one of the things that we are looking to do is what we have done was give them out more outlets than just the local Kenyan market. You know, we done
Hmm.
sold stuff online. We done sent paintings to DC. They have a broader reach through people that we know that's in Kenya, buying 5, 7 paintings at a time and paying
Hmm.
them nice money. You know what I mean? So that's one of our contributions to the marketplace. You know, to give them a fair shake at the market. It's not easy here at all.
And I was in a conversation recently with someone, and we were talking about the role of Afri-Americans, Africans in America, in coming home and helping to direct the continent towards long-term viability solutions. Ultimately, the biggest prize on the planet is who controls the resources of Central Africa, the DRC, etc. And someone asked me, well, what advantage would Afri-Americans have in coming home and attempting all of this? And I told them that that's exactly what advantage we can help our African cousins rise from poverty level existence and having to negotiate very unfair deals for our resources and commodities, including natural resources, but also including art. But we can help them to negotiate it up to a fair market exchange. I want to hear your thoughts.
Absolutely. Like, it's like, for me, haven't we got enough of America? We done been beat up to smithereens. You know,
Mm.
let's try something different. America is a very small place. The world is a big place. Like, Africa has 54 countries. Can you imagine if the LeBron James of the world, the Kyrie Irvings, like Khalees, the former wife of Nas, she's here. She done acquired 300 acres. You understand? Like, what if we pool our monies together, unify in the spirit of Black Wall Street? What if we tap back into that energy and go back to the environment where we was the former of all things and really, really become a force to be reckoned with? We don't understand, Brother Keedy, that unity is our greatest thing that we can achieve going forward. That is the missing link or the key. You know what I mean? So I don't know if I answered your question,
Well, you're giving
but
us
that's
insights, and that's what we really do appreciate. And the insight that I took from your brief statement is that it doesn't make any logical sense for Africans in America, I call them Afri-Amers, to latch onto, to hold onto, and never want to let go of the culture created for us, not by us, by our historical oppressors. The worst history in the world produced the culture that our people won't let go of. Some of them even embracing it now. They're walking around calling themselves uh, African descendants of slaves, fundamental Black Americans. You may have heard about these
FBA.
dysfunctional identity.
I don't, Brother Keedy, I don't even understand those conversations. I don't get it. Like,
It,
everyone knows
hmm
that Africa, like, we all descendants from this beautiful continent. So
hmm
to sit back and say, I'm not an African, you
mm.
know, I'm from here, I'm from America, is the craziest thing to me. I don't get it. I literally don't get it. You know what I mean? So those type of people, I just let them do their thing, you know?
hmm That many of them
I can't spend a
are
lot of time trying to
many of
convince.
them are considered scholars, and many of them considered to be leaders, and otherwise people wouldn't get behind them. They are saying some things that appeal to people that are, but I say it also appeals to their lower nature. That captive appeals to that slave, makes that slave feel like you can feel good being a foundational Black American.
What does that even mean? Foundational Black American. Like, when you say we're dealing with scholarship, right? You
Hmm
got to have primary sources.
That's right.
You cannot prove that you wasn't from Africa. Like, how does that work? You speaking English, wearing European clothes. You don't have. I mean, the only culture what you gonna say? Hip hop and that kind of thing. That's your culture. Like, what's your national dish? What's your, you know what I mean? Like, come
hmm
on. Like, let's get it
Nas-
together, man.
national dish is
This,
chitlins
man.
and watermelon.
It's what's your language? Oh, we've been stripped of our. Yeah, that's because you was brought here on the bottom of those ships, and we've been here for a few centuries now, and we're a little different. To be honest, we're a little different,
hmm
but that doesn't make you less African.
No,
We might have had family up in New York, but definitely we got some crazy cousins down in South Carolina. There's a
that's
difference
right.
there, but we
That's right.
we still
Now,
family.
there is one aspect of Kenyan culture, current contemporary Kenyan culture, that I am a little taken back by. When I go to Kenya, they have a very strong preference for Western clothing and Western religion. Care to comment?
That's a big fact. And we always make a joke like when we dress up and when we wear our fine African clothes, it's like we
Mm-hmm.
stand out in
Mm-hmm.
Nairobi. It's like we're doing too much. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, what are y'all doing? I mean, it's very bad here. And I thought, like in Ghana with the chochos and all that, on every
Mm-hmm.
bus you will see Jesus. And all that. I thought that was
Mm-hmm.
bad, but here, Nairobi is bad, man. They have an
Yeah,
affinity for the European.
that's
They have
right.
an affinity for it. Now, I must say, like when you go out into the rural areas,
Mm-hmm.
when you go out into the village, that's where you're gonna see everybody draped in culture.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The closer you get to the cities and all of that, that's when that Western influence is very heavy, very heavy.
So the urbanization of Kenya's younger generations is driving this affinity for everything foreign. Because when I go to Nairobi, I'm going to drive down the street and I'm going to see KFC. I'm going to see Coca Cola
Right.
all over the billboards. And you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Burger King. And we ask for indigenous food. Indigenous food, traditionally, of course, when I go to Kenya, they want to impress me. They want to treat me good, and so they want to feed me some carnage, some dead animal flesh. But that's not treating anybody good. But that to them, that's you have made it, and you now can enjoy life like a Westerner. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Absolutely. Here, it's like it's very few people that even understand what a vegan is. Very
Hmm.
few.
And they say,
So
why? Why would you want to do that?
they, they don't understand. Like, what do you mean vegetable? What do you mean? Like, we got goat here, we got chicken. Like, they don't understand. So a lot of education has to happen. We got to call to memory some things for our people,
Hmm.
and that's one of the my good brother Ami is doing in Nairobi with Soul Vegetarian. They do workshops of
Hmm.
gardening, plant food, agriculture, and also I think once a month they do a presentation on the benefits of eating a plant-based diet, and it's
Hmm.
targeting uh, local population. You know, so
Because the food that they call poverty food is the food that you and I are searching out because that's the food less adulterated, less processed, less contaminated with pesticides and chemicals.
Brother Keaty, we bought a jackfruit. This jackfruit was like this big.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how much was the jackfruit? The jackfruit was like $3.75. This big.
Mm-hmm.
We bought some soursop, which everybody knows. It fights against certain deadly
Immune related and
ailments.
cancer. That's right.
Right. We bought soursops. You got some of them? Let me see the soursop real quick. 50 cent, brother Keaty.
That's right. And then
50.
the avocados. Yeah, I can recall buying like 15 avocados. Maybe this might have been Uganda. Buying a big sack of avocados. It was like $4, $5.
So these on the smaller side.
Mm-hmm.
Well, both of these are 50 cents. Both of these was 25 cents a piece.
Wow. And to get
You know what I
sour
mean?
sop in
So
America, you're going to pay close to $7 for that.
you're gonna pay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a vegan or plant-based person's heaven
Mm-hmm.
because we know what we're looking for. It's not a big task for folks like us. You know. So, Brother Keedy, let me ask, can I ask you a question?
Oh, please do.
So you are raw foodist?
I was raw food for 8 years straight after I committed, and I stayed on it for quite some time. And literally, I corrected everything that needed correcting. I
Wow.
reversed my aging like 20, 30 years. So then I went from raw food to what's called an 80-20, where 80% of my food is raw. My energy comes from 80% raw and 20% from cooked. Now I've been able to add, because of cooking that 20%, I've been able to add beans, legumes, and other things that I couldn't eat. You don't eat raw beans. I could eat mung beans, garbanzos, and lentils. I could sprout those, but the rest of them I couldn't touch it because they would have the I can't remember what it's called. The chemical in them that causes severe allergy, etc., stress. And so now by going 80-20, I do have a good protein source that I can get regularly. But other than that, raw food is healing food. If ever I need to heal anything, I go raw.
Did you study a lot of Dr. Sebi's work?
Not only did I study Dr. Sabi's work, but Dr. Sabi was a good friend of mine for 25 years. And so he and I spent a lot of time together. I used to grow a certain herb that we shared a lot when we were together. And Dr. Sabi was able to transfer his healing spirit into a handful of people around the world, and I am doing my best to live up to the standards Dr. Sabi transferred. Now, one thing Dr. Sabi, he always said mucus was the cause of all disease and disorder. But I took that same idea. Mucus is the consequence of inflammation. And so mucus is really the aftermath of T cells fighting and dying, etc. So when he says mucus cause these disease, I actually took that as inflammation is causing these diseases, and we will always see mucus show up where inflammation is greater. But other than that, he and I were in very good, very close synchronization.
I didn't know that at all. Wow.
Yeah,
Good
Dr.
information.
Sabi was absolutely wonderful, wonderful, and he was funny. He was bold. If you had a critique that needed to be given to you, Dr. Sabi would not pull no punches. I was very fortunate that he kind of gave me a break because he liked me. He liked my herbs, and he also, um, I didn't deviate so much from Dr. Sabi's formula, even though he and I did disagree on several points, such as he did not like hybridized foods at all. And I said at this particular point, nearly everything we're eating has been hybridized over the centuries. But other than
Yeah,
that,
so
we
what to
didn't
do?
disagree.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I missed your
Yeah,
last
so what
statement.
well, we can move on. We can move on.
Oh, no, 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 no
Just one
problem.
last question on the diet thing. What do you think about the young brother out of I think he's out of Ohio, Yaki?
I think Yaqui is the living embodiment of Imhotep in our time. It is so absolutely
Mm.
wonderful to see this knowledge and wisdom as it's being transferred to younger generations. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm 70 years young at this particular point. We must cultivate the generations that are going to pick this up, pass the baton. Brother Yaqui is absolutely brilliant. You agree?
Good info. Absolutely.
Yeah.
My
And
wife and I,
so,
we watch it all the time.
yeah, I'm doing the best I can to keep on the front edge of this movement. See, there are things that I understand and can research at age 70 that I couldn't do or wasn't doing at age 45 and 50. Now I am focused a lot of my attention on longevity as I getting up into that age category. Hey, I'm a baby boomer. I'm burying more and more and more of my peer group. And I have a plan, and I'm sticking to it. If you want, I'll share it with you. I have a plan that my plan puts me at an age at the end of my life between 122 and 127 years with full viability up to age 115 to 118. I'm sticking to that plan.
So in brother Keaty's day-to-day life, what does a typical day look like
It's
to help
very,
you
it's
on your plan?
very structured. I'll just give you up till noon. I do engage in intermittent fasting. Sorry about that. I do engage in intermittent fasting every day. So from 6 p.m., I stop eating and I don't eat until noon of the next day. But when I wake up, I do 20 minutes of core exercises. I then go outside and since it's so cold out now, I'll do HIIT, run and walk for 10 minutes, but normally 7 months a year, I'll do 20 minutes of HIIT. Then I come in, I start to structure my radio program and everything. And I do, after this, um, I'll do my first set of push-ups before noon, and this is still going off of yesterday and energy. So at this particular point, my body has entered autophagy. I'm eating, consuming the debris, the junk, and all this stuff is being removed. But I will do my first set of push-ups. Yesterday, I make notes every day. Yesterday, my first set was 425 push-ups. That's a single set. You may have heard about my push-ups before. The second set was 300 push-ups, and the third set was 300. That was the first day ever that I did 1,025 push-ups in 3 sets. Now, that's what's my day-to-day routine. That's what it's like. Now, between the push-up sets, I will do 7 minutes of Tai Chi exercises. So my routine is intense. It is really intense. I'm very disciplined, and I'm sticking to it. And I'm planning on sticking to it at least until I turn 100. And then I'll alter it and make it a little more gentle.
Brother Keaty, 1,000 push-ups in one day?
In one day, 3 sets. In the last 7 days, in 21 sets, I did 5,885.
Wow. I'm blown away. I thought I was doing something with my little 50 push-ups a day.
Well, your 50 will rapidly become 75.
Yeah, I got something to shoot for now.
That's right. That's right. It's not so hard once you understand the rules. Now, I do not do when I do push-ups, I do not touch my chest on the floor. I bend my elbow arms to 90 degrees. That is not as stressful on my joints, so I don't get that pain between the sets like other people might get. But no, I can do 50 military push-ups,
Okay.
touching my chest on the floor. I can do 50 of those, and that's no problem.
And far as diet, you just, one meal a day?
Not one meal, but all my meals are all confined to a 6-hour window. My first meal is after noon, and my last meal ends at 6 p.m. So I'm doing intermittent fasting. I'm doing the 18-6 intermittent fasting. Now, that's a daily fast that turns on the autophagy, but 4 times a year, spring, summer, fall, and winter equinox, I go on a 21-day now detox fast where I take 3 days of water only, followed by colon cleansing, chelation therapy, etc., etc., etc. I clean every aspect of internal. Let me tell you, that made me, my biological age now is considered to be 45 to 55 years old. So at age 70, to say I feel like a 45-year-old man feels really, really good, my brother.
Wow.
So enough talking about me. We're
That's
talking about
very
Kenya
inspiring.
today.
Right.
Now,
I
couldn't
got
one
lost in
sustain a
the.
life like this? A life like this, couldn't that be sustained very well in Kenya, where you're going to get organic, fresh fruit and commerce? You can get it every day.
Absolutely. Like the great Dr. Sabi said, like this is an alkaline environment.
Mm-hmm.
So with much exercise, sunlight, beach, and a bunch of smiles and people that look just like you all around,
Mm-hmm.
that's conducive to hit that 117, 100. And there's a lot of cases of people in the village not even doing half of what you're doing, that they're reaching 117, 120, 125 years old.
No, we've
You know
heard
that,
this
brother.
quite a bit. We've heard this quite a
Yeah,
bit about Africa, but there are certain mechanisms of documenting these cases of longevity. And that has been mostly as anecdotal, others testifying this. Do you have any evidence, such as birth records, birth certificates, school attendance, et cetera, that can confirm these village cases? Because I want to believe them, but I have to stick to a certain standard that I have accumulated over the years of confirming these cases.
these are cases that I've simply people shared with me, but I
Mm-hmm.
can do my due diligence. I can do my homework and seek that out. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah. It's
but
that it's not
to answer your,
it's not that our people are unbelievable, but just standards of confirmation.
yeah, that's definitely a necessity. We need that.
Mm-hmm.
But to answer your question, this environment, this alkaline based environment, is very much so conducive for that type of lifestyle. People
Now,
wanted to come, and another thing, the USD goes a long way. You know
mm-hmm.
this, brother Keedy.
That's
So
right.
the opportunities that we would normally have in the states. I mean, 20, $30,000. You can do a lot with that here.
That's right. Yeah, that U.S. dollar goes a long way. Now, we are concerned because I am a part of a coalition that's come together that is planning to sue the Kenyan government over allowing Bayer, Monsanto, DuPont, Dow Chemical, Bill Gates, and all of these to enter into Kenya. They're actually putting together a lawsuit. I have a huge file that I have put together, and I think it may be everything in this file. I think we can win this lawsuit. Are you familiar with the challenge to Kenya's indigenous agricultural system as it's being challenged right now by these foreign corporations?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things that my brother Ami talks about. Um, and actually, he sits on a board. I forget the name. I want to say it's what's the name of that board? I think it's called Cohen.
Mm-hmm.
He was just he was just on a retreat, and they are actually in charge of implementing certain policies as agriculture is concerned. So he's
Mm-hmm.
a big advocate of pushing back against the whole pesticide and this Terminator seed stuff, and
Mm.
so he's trying to teach local farmers how to do it the right way. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how do you poison your food because you don't want so-called insects to get on it? Then you turn around and consume the same agent that you sprayed on it. That don't make sense.
Mm.
So I would love to get him on the show, brother Kitty. He's very, very knowledgeable, and he's a big name over here that's pushing back against the, the system or the powers that be here.
Well, he
I'm
most
not as
definitely
art.
will be welcome. He will be welcome
Yeah,
on the program.
yeah, and he's a
And
musician too. His name is Ami the Veggie Man, so you can find him on YouTube.
all right,
And
I'm
I
me,
and
the
I
veggie
definitely
man.
Ami the Veggie Man.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well,
Yeah,
I look forward to hosting I'm Me, the Veggie Man on LIBRadio as soon as we possibly can. And also, you wanted to comment on a young brother, and I believe he is originally from America, Pittsburgh or somewhere like that. His name is I Show Speed, and his movements in Africa. I would like to have your insights there.
Yes, he's a young streamer. He started out about 3, 4 years ago. He started out with 2,000 followers, and now the brother has over 50 million followers. So this whole notion that Africans don't like African Americans and vice versa, he's dispelling that whole FBA argument. He's blowing that out of the water just by his presence going to Nigeria. He came to Kenya and he had tens of, all this footage is on YouTube. You can see it for yourself. He had tens of thousands of people running behind him, showing nothing but love. To the point, I want to say he was in Uganda, and he jumped out of the car, and him and another brother, they embraced, and just tears was flowing. So now he's inspiring the young people in America to look towards Africa, because they saying now that, man, they've been lied to the whole time. And they thought Africa was, you know, huts and stuff like that. But it's a concerted effort to try to disconnect us from this great and beautiful continent. So what I Show Speed is doing, I don't think he even understands how vast his reach is. You know, yeah, he has 50 million followers, but what does that mean to a broken people, a people that's been displaced? You know, to now see you in Africa receiving the love and moving around, and not only they see you getting all this love, they seeing the environments that you're in. They seeing that Nairobi is really progressive. They seeing, man, skyscrapers in Nairobi. They seeing, you know, people in suits. They go to Ethiopia, how clean Rwanda is, and you know, they seeing visually Africa in a whole nother light. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to just make a point to just mention him, because he's having such a great impact right now. And you, the northern countries, Morocco's, Algeria, he ain't been getting no love up there. And actually in Algeria, they threw bananas at him and was calling them monkeys in Algeria. So those northern regions, I mean, we know who run those countries, you know?
Yeah, they're more reflective of the Mediterranean environment as opposed to the heart of Africa, which would be centered in the DRC and Kenya, Uganda, the lakes region, etc. And now I would be remiss if I didn't report that one of our elders, and I call her Queen Mother Kashiba, she has said that he is acting like a buffoon in Africa during his travels. As he goes from country to country, he's just always pushing the edge to outrageous in his behavior. I saw one of his brief videos, and he goes to Ethiopia, and he's enthralled in a village life of a young woman, and he creates a video that shows him telling her father, how many goats do you want for her, or how many cattle? And then in the next scene, he's apparently marrying her. But that's a little buffoonish. Does Africa have to be cartoonized to appeal to a large number of our young people?
No, of course not. But we got to keep in mind that he's a young brother. He's a young brother. He built his platform on kind of being, you know, a young brother. You know, he does foolish things. But what I'm speaking to is bigger than him. It's bigger than, let's take him out of it. was somebody of his influence moving around Africa as an African American, getting this kind of love. It's kind of bridging the gap. It's kind of making us see Africa in a whole nother light. Him as a character, yeah, he's a young, typical neighborhood guy. You know what I mean? So we're gonna expect that from him. This is how he got famous. But also it's causing millions of our people that wouldn't necessarily have Africa in their minds. Now he's planting thoughts of, man, I want to go visit Kenya. I want to visit Uganda. I want to. So that's really, it ain't so much of him. And prayerfully, as he grow older, like he had a verbal match with his father. His father was saying, man, we're not Africans. But he's going toe to toe with his father to prove the point that, in fact, he is and we are. So maybe in the next 10, 15 years, pretty sure how he's moving, his trajectory is going to be a great one. I mean, and brother, at 20 years old, we all was, we was kind of out there a little bit at 20.
Well, I wasn't, but everyone else around me was.
I mean, you the man that's doing 1,000 push-ups in a day, so you different. You're different.
One of my concerns is that the values transferred by your and my generations. I'm a baby boomer. I think presumably you're Generation X, but we have to transfer values to the younger generations, and they are expected to pick them up and carry them forward. And the values are shifting so much now because of TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, Facebook Shorts. It's all become contaminated with this rapid, you got to shock me or I'm not going to pay attention. How many of iShow Speed's followers have gone and looked up and know about Runoko Rashidi? And Runoko Rashidi was an absolute hero of my generation, along with Dr. Sabi. I knew Runoko very, very well. And, Runoko Rashidi was an absolute hero. His legacy must be carried forward. I take responsibility for that. But how many of iShow Speed's followers will he introduce them to Runoko Rashidi?
I understand. It's going to take people that is capable of reaching him on that level. He was moving around. He was moving around with the brother Shaka Bars. I don't know if you're familiar. You familiar with him?
Shaka Boss, I don't recognize that name.
Hey, you can pull him up real quick on the phone. Is another young brother. Shaka Bars is like mid-30s, maybe approaching 40. And spent a lot of time in Ghana, and he's moving around in the Congo. He's doing great work. I'm gonna show you I'm pretty sure when I show you this brother here.
Okay, and how do you spell his last name?
Shaka Bars.
Is it B-A-Z or B-O-O-O-S?
Give me 1 second. It's all one word. It's S-H-A-K-A-B-A-R-S.
S-H-A-K-A 2 A's? Shaka Baz.
It's C-H.
Okay.
A-K.
C-H.
C-H-A-K-A-B-A-R-S.
Shaka Bars. Okay. I'll look him up.
So he's moving around with Shaka Bars. So if you know Shaka Bars, like, he's a no-nonsense guy. So
yeah, I see a link to him, and I'll put that link up for our listening audience. And hopefully they'll get a chance to check him out as well.
Yeah, so it's a step in the right direction, I
Mm-hmm.
think I think this is his movements is helping more than it's hurting. Let me say that.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we're going to, and we are entitled to pass the baton. And if we don't attempt to locate and find these youth to carry us forward, we're going to absolutely fail by default. And we will not, with our Pan African advocacy, we will not have succeeded. We will have failed. And at this particular point in our people's history, I'm convinced it is Pan Africanism or perish. Your thoughts on that?
I totally agree. It's definitely Pan Africanism or perish. I mean, a tree without roots is dead, correct? That's what the great Marcus Garvey said.
That's right.
So it is upon us to definitely tap back into one of the principles of Kemet is to know thyself.
That's right.
So it's important to us, like the elder Anthony Browder always say that he's a call to memory specialist, that we have to go back and Sankofa, we have to recall to memory who it is that we are. You know what I mean? In order to go forward. So it is very important that we tap back in to the ancestors. We tap back into our true traditions and customs and, you know,
That's
in
right.
order to go forward. It's definitely
We're going to
Pan-African or perish.
That's right. We're going to begin to wrap it up. We get a couple more minutes. Now, this actually, we've gone over a half an hour past our time, but that's great because you're a one and a long time guest. Great, great conversation. AI is transforming everything very rapidly. In my mind, I have transferred AI into ancestral intelligence, therefore fusing the technological future of AI with our inheritance of ancestral inheritance. And I am the bridge to tie them both together, bring them together, and make good sense out of it. Your thoughts on this idea of fusing artificial intelligence into our reality of our ancestral inheritance?
I don't know, Brother Keita. I think I got mixed feelings
Uh huh.
um, with the trajectory of AI. You know, there's reports out there that, you know, there's certain systems that was given certain instructions or commands,
Mm
and it literally pushed back and did its own thing and overrode the instructions. So, and you have other scholars out there that saying that AI is likened unto a sentient being
hmm. Mm hmm.
that
It's
is
approaching.
going.
Um, it's approaching that point expected around the year 2030 that AI will activate its other core, and that's a very serious point. Continue.
So it's like if you see the way AI is moving, it's like you got to question like what is our place in the world to come? 20,
Mm
30,
hmm.
40 years down the road. What would it look like for human beings? Right now, even in the Americas, everywhere is just concrete, radio waves everywhere, like
Mm hmm.
jobs and stripped and taken, and it's like a world is being created where we are moving into this. We were just talking about this earlier that people are the main resource on the planet, and likened unto the Matrix, the movie. A lot of people say it was a documentary where human beings was being used by AI or the machines as literal batteries. You know what I mean? So it's like
Mm
I have mixed feelings. I have mixed feelings. I don't know. Is it good thing or bad thing. You know, I'm gonna lean more on it's not conducive for life and living.
Yeah. I did publish a book called AI Has a God Complex. The book came out in 2023 and it forecasted that, yeah, we're going to allow Urugu to, to program this AI and put his Urugu personality inside of it. And it is inevitable with that personality inside of it, it's going to get out of control and take control because Urugu's value system. But what I am suggesting is that those of us who truly do believe in our Kemetic inheritance, our ancestral intelligence, we can override that Urugu programming. But we've got to get in early. We got to get in deep. Otherwise, once again, Africans will have defaulted to European supremacy.
So when you say we got to get in deep, what does that look like?
Every AI program out there, and there are now over 100 of these different apps and things. I am taking 28 days or 28 weeks, actually, 1 day a week, to teach our people to use them. And what happened in the first 8 weeks or so of it just blew my mind of the level of power that's been out here for several years that now I can use. I'll send you a couple. Well, I did send you some of the things that I created, but I created a program for Africans in America to take over the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And it's a staged program. You have to level up to it. But with the program, it's so thorough, it's really complete, but it's missing the element of widespread cooperation among Africans in America. If I can convince African Americans to engage in the process, maybe like iShow Speed is convincing young people to engage at least, then we can take over the DRC, not take it over. We can collaborate with the people of DRC and make them and us the wealthiest people in the world. And our ancestral intelligence combined with AI can do that.
Okay.
But it does require the ancestral connection. That is your and my matrix.
Got you.
That's right. And we're going to do the best we can. You and I are going to obviously be having quite a bit of contact because I'm coming to Kenya and I'm going to be, like you, a resident of Kenya. And I'm working with a bunch of Kenyans right now to put all this together.
That was my next question. When is your next trip?
It's always 4 months away. So at this particular point, my next trip to the motherland is going to be probably July, coming to Ghana, where I will be given an honorary doctorate by the Ghana University of Herbal Medicine. And I will fly from Ghana to Kenya and then begin to piece together my life there in Kenya. Hopefully, you will be one of my collaborators.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We're gonna definitely link. And
All right.
I would love for Ami the Veggie Man to connect.
I will look forward to being in contact with him. We're going to have to wrap it up. It's getting the time is moving ahead. I would like your final thoughts that you want to share about your journey to Kenya. Talk to our listening audience about why they would want to follow you to the continent. And I do see Brother Nguvu is in the house. He says, Sawubona, my brothers. Excellent show. I say again, we need to create the world we want to live in.
Absolutely, absolutely, Brother Keaty. I want to thank you and appreciate you bringing me on once again. I came to Kenya. I first went to Ghana, Senegal, Gambia because I was simply looking for a better situation. We all know what's taking place in the Americas. It is not an environment that's conducive for life and living, especially for the African in America. So I literally just wanted to get out and get to those environments that we can really stretch out, have a level of peace, and build. And I always say, like, if Africa is the former of all things, why not start there? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you want to come, at least, if not to live, I would say you have to come for a visit, family.
That's right.
I chose Kenya. I chose Kenya because of my network, but again, Africa has 54 countries.
That's right.
54 countries. So there's a lot of expats. There's a lot of expats in Kenya. Um, Kenya is populated by 55 million beautiful people that look just like you.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Khaleesi's of the world. You have a lot of entertainers, musicians that's looking towards Kenya. The infrastructure here is it needs to develop more, but I would say it's more further down the road than many African countries. They have a digital system called M-Pesa, which they created
Mm-hmm.
about 15 years ago. It's Africa's first, I guess you could say, digital currency. So it
Well, it was
lets
the
you know
world's
how,
first. It was the
right,
world's first
the
digital
world.
currency.
That's correct. So again, family, there's a plethora of opportunities here,
That's right.
from agriculture to real estate to tea to rare minerals to chocolate to exotic fruits. And the list can go on and on and on and on. And again, family, right now, the USD, the US dollar, goes a long way, And that's not to say Kenya doesn't have issues, but you don't have to worry about getting shot down in the streets here, like what's going on in America. So, Brother Keedy, again, I want to say thank you for bringing us on to the platform. I
That's
definitely
great.
was
Great
enjoying.
to have you. And there was a question that came in from one of our listeners. I put it up on the screen. The question comes from our sister. She's in the UK for Africa One. She asked, Brother Samal, have you encountered retirees settling in Kenya? What roles do you see we could get involved in?
Yes, I've seen quite a few retirees, especially down here. A lot of people come from Nairobi down to the coastal regions. You have Malindi, you have Kalifi, you have Diani, and like Brother Keedy, we have Mombasa, 40 minutes away. You have Niali. So these are regions where retirees can come and create the life that they want. What it is that you can get into, there's so much. There's so much, and I will, I will not be doing it justice to try to communicate to you. You have
Mm-hmm.
to buy that ticket, and you have to come. Once you come and get off the plane and you smell the air and you see the vibe of the people, your mind is just going to open up. So there's a
Awesome.
plethora of things for you to do, to
Awesome.
get into.
Thank you so much for being with us today. I look forward to our further conversations. I'll be dropping some of the materials that I'm producing for my journey there. And we look forward to the next time we get together, dear brother. Thank you so much, Brother Samal.
Appreciate it, Brother Keedy. Appreciate you.
All right. My guest today was our dear brother. And here, wait a minute. Let me take him out of the studio. Oh, wait. Don't do that. Just take him out of the studio. Of my dear brother named Samal Jamai and Jaioni, excuse me, not Jamai, Jaioni, who's all about Kenya life, his family, his artwork, the culture, the music, everything that is going on there, much of which we can directly relate to. Some of the things we talked about today, we don't necessarily want to see perpetuated in Kenya going forward, but The brother is on the ground, and he is making it happen. And I am so very proud of him and everyone else who is a part of our LIB radio family. Well, I'm very proud of us for giving our brother an audience, a stage today. And we are going to do the best we can to continue to grow, to build, to learn, to develop Africa, because Africa certainly needs you and I to continue progressing. And so on that note, I'm trying to get my music to sync up, and it's not syncing up over here. So I am out of here for today. Peace and prosperity to each and every one of you on your favorite LIB radio, LIB TV, and livinginblack.com.